Welcome to the Beer Frontier. My name is Gage.
And I'm Robert, and as ever, we're here for the beer. Today, we're going to be looking at IPA, or India Pale Ale.
We'll go and see what Ben the Homebrewer is doing.
We'll try a couple of local IPAs.
We'll go and visit Enzo and see what he's cooking.
And we've got an imported India Pale Ale to try too.
And we'll go out on the roads and visit a microbrewery.
So, Gage, what is India Pale Ale?
India Pale Ale, or IPAs, Roberts, were a style of beer developed in England for export to India, hence the India. Originally made from pale malts, so hence the pale, and they were ales. Now this style of beer is slightly heavier hops than other beers and slightly higher alcohol. And the idea was that the hops and the alcohol would act as natural preservatives for the sea voyage from England out to India, where it was served to the British troops because it was probably better than the local water.
Okay, that sounds to me like it could all be a bit apocryphal.
Well, might be, but I'm convinced. But certainly some beer historians do dispute part of that story, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so Gage, you've got a beer in your bonnet again this week too. What is it this week?
Oh, it's an old favourite, alcohol and health. And this is a topic which is often misrepresented by special interest groups trying to simplify it or telling outright lies. I was reading online the other day the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition about a study done in Holland over a 10-year period where they looked at 35,000 Dutch adults, and they concluded that moderate drinkers were 45% less likely to develop type 2 diabetes if they had a healthy lifestyle. And the healthy lifestyle is they didn't smoke, they exercised regularly and ate well, ate good food. But not for a moment am I suggesting you should start drinking beer for any supposed health benefits, but moderate consumption as opposed to teetotal, you're probably on balance better off. Now this is a pretty serious topic, and anybody who wants to read further, I'll put the website address on our site so you can look at it later.
Okay, so what's going on here? Is it is the alcohol cutting through the fat or something like that?
No, I wouldn't like to say that. I just think that people are happier. It's just beer is proof that God wants us to be happy.
Yeah, I tried the drinking man's diet once.
Yeah, what's that?
Well, I only lost 2 kilos, but I also lost 3 weekends.
Well, we were talking about moderate consumption of alcohol, not what Robert got up to in his misspent youth. So can we just move on to
Oh yes, well, let's go and see what Ben the Homebrewer is cooking up for us today.
Okay, so it looks like our mini beer has finished boiling. So simply, let's turn this off. And all I need to do now, get myself the largest funnel that I can find, pop it in there, and let's hope this thing doesn't crack on me. It shouldn't. All right, let's go. Whee, don't worry about that. That's why brewing's a messy science. Okay. Fantastic. Got that all in there. Beautiful. Usually I give that a rinse out so it doesn't get all sticky. All we do now, we would have this sanitized usually. Pop that in there. Get ourselves a bit of sanitized water in there. Why not? Okay. And basically, hey! That was a clever idea, wasn't it? Okay, just going to give that a good mix up. Normally I'd wait for this to cool down, but I'm just showing you guys what to do. Shake it around, don't be afraid to shake it around, cover the entire inside of your little yeast starter, and that means that it's going to sanitize the inside of this little baby. What then needs to happen is that's going to go away in the fridge until it cools down to tepid sort of room temperature, okay? What I then need to do basically is make a hydrator for this. So I simply get boiling water, which I just used before, and pop it in here. Get ourselves some good old Glad wrap. pop it over the top, and that will be nice and sanitised of its own accord. And we're going to put that in the freezer and pull that out once again when that's lukewarm and tepid. So I'll do that now, and then we'll come back and show you how to pitch the yeast. Okay, so through the magic of television, this is now down to nice and tepid, and same with our little starter there. So the purpose of this, quite simply, is to hydrate the yeast. So we've got our sterile water, and all we're going to do is pop our yeast in here. And then we will cover that back up again without getting that on the table. That will sit there for about 10 minutes. That's all it needs, just for that yeast to stop being dry and just go through and become in solution, something like that. Once that's happened, we're going to make an assumption here that that's happened. We would normally then just swirl that around. Taking that off, I would then get my sterile funnel out of my sanitizer bath and simply pour my yeast in like that. Bob's your uncle. Here's our starter. Back in, job done. So once again, swirl this around as much as you like. You cannot put too much oxygen in there, so give it a good go. So swirl that around as much as you like, give it a good go. Once you're satisfied that's all mixed in, you can top this up with some more sterile water if you want to, and that just goes away in a nice dark place. Don't put it near sunlight, because this of course is a beer now. Important thing to note, is that this has to be done one day before you make your beer. So the night before you're going to make your beer, say you make it on Saturday, you want to be making this up on Friday night, ready for pitching into your beer, probably Saturday afternoon or something like that. So there we have it. So I'm going to be brewing on Saturday by the looks of it, and hopefully you guys with your starters will be going away and making some fantastic beer. So I will see you next time when we move on to the next part of brewing.
Welcome back to the keg room, and now we're going to try a couple of local IPAs. We've got from the Bridge Road Brewers, we've got Bling India Pale Ale, and from the Jamison Brewery we have The Beast.
Bridge Road Breweries, we looked at their porter last week and we loved it. So this is up in Beechworth. We thought we'd go back and revisit them. And Jamison, we looked at their brown ale once before. Yeah, we thought we'd go and give them another chance as well. So Robert, India Pale Ales, what we're looking for here is hopped dominant beer, and we're looking for earthy herbal type flavours and aromas, but we should also be able to taste the malts. We are expecting the higher alcohol, and the Beast is over 7%. These are 2 bottle conditioned beers, which means they've re-fermented in the bottle, so they are slightly cloudy. But the important thing is the beer has to be well balanced. So we've got to have the hops and the alcohol, but it's got to all be in harmony. So what do you think?
Well, the first thing I think is I'm wondering who these beers are aimed at. You know, we got Bling India Pale Ale with Pimp My Beer written on it, and I'm thinking this is made for hip hop gangster beer.
No, they're just not focusing on label design, they're focusing on making beer.
Well, I don't know, because the Jamison, this looks like it's aimed at the gaming crowd. It's got a sort of Predator sort of beast on it, so I think these are aimed at young men. Okay, let's go through the Bridge Road one first. Slightly cloudy, which is not such a bad thing. Fruity sort of smell, slightly citrus sort of smell. Quite bitter, not in bad balance, I think. It's got a nice aftertaste in that, and I think that's not a bad beer myself. I'm going to give that 3 stars.
Yeah, I think it's quite stylish, but I think it has fallen into that new world, that Australian-American thing of over-hopping beers. The beer is supposed to be highly hopped, but I think the hops are out of balance. It's quite a pleasant beer with the right strongly flavoured food. It would be delightful, just a bit over-hopped, but 3 stars for me.
Yeah, well, see, I think the Jamison here is actually over-hopped. I find that It hasn't got quite the fruity nose that the other one has, and it's a bit one-dimensional and very, very bitter to my taste. A bit acrid, in fact. So I'm going to mark that down a bit. I'll go. It's a sort of a middle of the road sort of beer. I think 2.5.
I think this is overhopped too. I make the point though it is 7% alcohol, and the brewer's done a good job with the alcohol doesn't really give you any burn. You know, it's not hot. The alcohol is well formed in this beer, but the hops are really an assault on the senses. This sort of reminds me of Barossa Valley Shiraz, at 16% alcohol that hurts your mouth. So, yeah, no, not a favourite. On style, I'm going to mark this down just to 2 points, 2 stars.